good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever. Folks, the Bill Crane Report is back on the air again to charm you, educate you, and amuse you.
Or frustrate you.
And frustrate you. And beside me is my good friend Dwayne Weiss, and we are going to give you our opinions on many matters.
The only opinion that matters.
That's right. Dwayne?
Yes, sir.
I have a couple of things to start off with.
Good.
And then I have a couple of the big stories of the day.
Okay.
And then let's start tackling your line items.
Well, we go switch back and forth here.
Yeah. First of all, have you given any thought?
No.
No.
I don't want to be accused of thinking.
To what heaven is going to be like?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Yeah. I was listening to,
Well, if you're, I think it's Jehovah's Witness, heaven is here. It's just on a different plane. You don't go anyplace.
oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Are they the ones that say there's only going to be 144,000?
Yep.
So what happens when
I don't-
Jehovah's Witness dies and it throws them over the top? Do they have to get rid of one of the existing ones?
I don't know.
or-
That was questions I like to ask
Yeah.
somebody, but I never had the chance.
I don't know. But I do know that I was listening to a homily from a priest at Mass one day, and part of it was that he was talking about the Bible passage they had read, that Jesus promised us heaven, and that we could not comprehend the joy and the happiness that we would have there. Human minds could not think of, even scratch the surface of what it's going to be like. But that hasn't stopped me from wondering.
No, me either.
And quite frankly, I don't know what the devil to think.
I always wanted to sit down with a clergy member
Yeah.
that would discuss things. I got questions. And a theologian type guy.
Yeah.
That would discuss it logically without throwing out back, well, it's God's will, or, these platitudes or these pat answers that just don't bother me with it. But I've never run anybody like that.
Father Connolly was probably
Probably
the
would have been the closest, yeah.
I had a lot of chats with him, and yes, he was a biblical scholar, and a very intelligent man, well-spoken and everything. But he didn't go way off the beaten path, but he was very concise and well-chosen words when I asked him questions like that. But he didn't go off the reservation
Okay.
with, oh, well, now, blah, 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 and bring in a lot of his thoughts. It was pretty much faith-based, but he was the most intelligent and articulate priest I've ever met.
I've always been a kind of a pain in the ass for people, like with my mother-in-law, I used to ask her questions about, she was very religious, oh my God. And then I'd throw something at her and she'd get, well, I don't know, was always the answer.
Yeah, there are some things we have to accept just as part of faith alone. Yeah.
I don't know what happened one time. I fell off something and I didn't get hurt. And she says, I'll bet you really thank God that you didn't get hurt. I said, well, I was kind of ticked that he let me fall in the first place. Well, I said, if he controls everything, why did I fall?
I know. Why would we have house fires
Yeah.
where 7 people die, you know?
One of the old things is this: why do churches get hit by lightning?
Yeah, yeah. What's that? High steeple.
Yeah, yeah.
Brings the old shot right in.
Then I used to tell Monica, and she'd get irritated. I said, not many Catholics go to heaven. Well, why not? I said, well, there's too many pitfalls if you're Catholic. Eat meat on Friday in Lent, going to hell. Miss Mass, you're going to hell. Do this, you're going to hell. Don't do this, you're going to hell. I said, Protestants don't have to worry about that. So consequently, there's a whole lot more Protestants in heaven than there are Catholics, because to get through life without falling someplace through one of those cracks that you're always taught is very rare. Well, I don't know. I don't think about that stuff. I know you don't. That's why.
Yeah, it's. But anyway,
All right.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it with my fingers crossed. Oh, you're not supposed to do that. That's superstitious, but I guess we'll be surprised.
Yeah. Well, I went to Catholic school.
Yep.
12 years.
Yep.
And we were told the damnedest things you've ever really heard of.
Yeah, I know. I remember being a kid, and certainly the thought has evolved considerably. And
Well, we were taught by nuns, so that was
yeah.
And they used to, of course, they didn't like boys.
No, I know.
They hated boys. Boys were the dirtiest, filthiest things ever walked the face of the earth. And we were always going to hell. That was it. We were dead. We're gone.
Yep. We're a bad lot.
Oh,
But now, I'm glad you said that, because I got a list of things I want to talk about. But on my list, way down towards the bottom,
yeah.
you have just said something.
What?
Should we, in the interest of best educational practices, have boys' schools and girls' schools separate?
I think there are pluses on both sides, and this is not wiggling out of the question.
No, you're not a wiggler.
There are, no, I'm not afraid of. There are benefits,
I know there are.
and I think there's a discipline factor when you separate them, because typically boys and girls tend to show off to the other side.
Absolutely.
I got to be cool, so I'm going to do this, or I'm trying to impress her.
I got to be sexy, so he's
Absolutely.
interested.
That goes away
Yeah.
when you split them
I
up
got
by
to be
gender.
a hunk, a muscle man, so that she'll come over and want to grab me.
Yeah, and if you're all amongst all boys, get out of here.
Yeah, in fact, you don't want to get
Yeah, that's right.
grabbed. And I think also the classrooms would be a lot better behaved.
Well, that's the whole point.
I think it would be easier to say, we're getting serious now.
Mm-hmm.
Knock it off.
That's right.
Well, you can't talk like that to girls.
But on the other hand, there is some social development
That's right.
that's missing.
Yes.
So I'm not an educator. I don't know.
No,
Which-
I've often thought, though, the colleges have it the right way, and I guess some high schools too, with mixers, parties where boys and girls come together to meet one another, and it's accepted that, hey, I'm coming to meet a girl, or I'm coming to meet a guy, and you don't have to be accused of hitting on people or something like that, because the mixer, by its definition, is something that pulls the sexes together.
There are less and less gender-specific colleges all the time.
Yeah.
They're kind of falling by the wayside. But a lot of that is financial.
Yes.
They can't get enough students one way or another to maintain it that way.
Yeah.
Wheaton was at one
Wheaton
time all
was
girls.
for years. Yeah. And
then-
I think it's still predominantly.
Predominantly, yeah.
But Wheaton was also expensive.
Oh yeah. Well,
Um,
my son is going through that now with his daughter. I believe she's going to Syracuse.
not cheap either.
It's 70,000 a year.
Yeah.
But you know,
They-
we didn't. Well, we couldn't. In those days, it wasn't that much to start
Right.
with. But even so, it was relative. No, I told him when he was still looking at schools, I said, you better start with state and in-state. Well, you can go to New Hampshire or Rhode Island because they got a reciprocal agreement. But he ended up with UMass out at Amherst, which was, it's a damn good school.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, that was expensive enough in those days.
Yeah.
And it's not like it is today. I think it's around 28 or 30,000 a year now.
Yeah.
It was 12, I think,
Yeah,
years ago.
The
when he was-
privates now, the good privates, 70, 75,
Yeah.
$80,000
It's incredible.
a year. Yeah. Speaking of that, there was a quick little blurb on TV as I was leaving. We're never going to get to. That's good though. On Fox News
Okay.
and Fox Financial, and they have short vignettes.
Okay.
That's the whole show in short term, 3 or 3.5 minute interviews with people. So they had this one this morning. They had filmed it on site at a guard dog training center.
Okay.
So here's the bottom line, Stuart said. Well, how much does a dog cost? Are you ready for this? A guard
Plenty, I
dog puppy,
Yeah.
$4,000.
Yeah. It's about twice what a.
That's a puppy,
Yeah.
fully trained,
Oh my God, I can imagine.
between $50,000 and $150,000.
You know, like these canines and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And it showed them training the dogs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you have a large home, or supposing you have a business, boy, I'll tell you what, there's no better God person than a 95-pound German Shepherd,
Oh my God.
properly trained.
Yeah.
And that was really interesting. $150,000. And
Yeah. Well, that's.
well, that is. I'll be willing to bet you anything that is fully
Yeah.
broken for celebrity type people, or
Oh, that kind of. Yeah.
where the 50,000 may be fully broken for one person and guarding one open territory or something
Dogs
like
are
that.
very effective.
I'm sorry?
Dogs are very effective.
Very effective.
You watch that. You
Yeah.
watch that OP Live.
Yeah.
What are they afraid of most? The dog.
You bet.
The cops are coming after him with their 9mm out, and they're not afraid of that. But if they let that dog, well, don't give it, take the dog.
My kids used to watch that with me. The cops, back
Yep,
the
Cops,
earlier
that's it, yep.
version, and they waited the whole show for a dog episode.
Oh, I do.
they
I'll sit there.
loved
I'll
it
say,
when the
bite him,
dog-
bite him, bite him.
Oh,
And you know, I've seen it a couple times where they've been chasing this guy for a long time, and they're frustrated, and the dog's got him. They don't exactly right away pull him off. They let him have a couple of bites.
have him get a little chewing
Yeah.
in. Boy, I'll tell you. But boy, that kind of money, $150,000. Wow.
We
And guess what? So Stuart said to him, "How's business?" He said, "Not too good right now." He said, "I got a shortage of puppies."
yeah, I'm not.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff is in big demand. And you know what that speaks to, Dwayne? Crime in this country.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I used to go to a clothing store down in Norwood back in my single days. And it was kind of a hole in the wall place.
Yep.
But the guy had nice suits and nice shirts and ties, and it was a men's store. And he had Twinkie with him all the time. Twinkie must have been 125 pounds. It was a mutt, not a purebred, but that was his guard dog.
Yep. If the dogs are very effective, although we lived in Brockton, and my neighbor owned the Sunoco station on Belmont Avenue years ago, and it kept getting broken into. And he said, well, I'm going to get a dog. So he gets a Doberman Pinscher. And, you know, we were neighbor, we were friendly, all back and forth and stuff. It was a nice dog. I mean, it was active as hell. It was always jumping and running and running around. And it looked like it would tear your arm off. Well, it got to be a mature dog, and he said, I'm just going to lock him in at night when I'm leave and put him down in some water in his bed and stuff, and just leave him in the station. Well, it lasted about 3 weeks.
The dog cried all night.
No, somebody broke in and stole the dog. That dog did not have a mean bone in his body. You know, everybody was friendly. Everybody was his friend. Well, that was the problem because, you know, they come in and he's little stubby tail wagging, pet me, you know. Well, that was the end of that.
It's unusual for a Doberman to be like
That's
that.
right. But, no, my son's got a yellow lab. Yeah, a yellow lab. And when you go to the door, he barks, and he's got this big, deep bark. You think that you're not going to open that door if you're not. But he's another one of those. He's never had a aggressive moment in his life. Everybody's his friend. But when that doorbell rings or knocks, he barks.
Yep.
And I said, that's all you need is that him barking like that.
Yep. Yeah. Man's best friend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Changing subjects for a second here on my hit list of interesting things this morning. Slavery. This is seemingly an everlasting stain on the soul of America. Will we ever be able to come to terms with it and move on? What is the end game? Will it ever fade away?
It would, but there's a certain element that don't want it to.
Doesn't want it to, yeah. Yeah, because there's money to be made.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Al Sharpton.
Yeah. Jesse Jackson.
Yeah.
All that group, they'd be out of business.
You know, I've often thought that problems like slavery are like legislation or like trying to work out new rules for football or basketball are best served by getting the lowest level people involved and saying, solve this, will you? You know, I swear to you, if we could sit down with a couple of minorities, we could bring all this stuff to an end. And shake hands and say, well, that's it, it's over.
But as far as slavery goes, it was what it was.
Yes, it was.
And it was something that was, at that time, it was not just here, it was other times, different countries. It still exists today.
It does, no doubt.
And it's got different forms. There's real slavery going on in parts of Africa.
Absolutely.
I mean,
By
whatever.
the way, I mean, take a look at India and the caste
Caste system. Yeah.
Yeah, and the untouchables.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a form of relegating
Oh, sure.
a certain subset of your population.
And they're born into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can never escape
No.
it.
You-
Yeah.
You're born into it and you have to
Yeah.
stay in it.
I don't know.
I couldn't understand, even the Globe couldn't understand why, when they made the name change to Nubian Square,
Yeah.
the Globe even had an article. Are they aware that Nubia is one of the biggest slaveholders yet today? But they went right ahead with it and called it Nubian Square,
I don't know what was wrong with Eggleston Square.
or whatever
All
it
right.
was called before.
I believe that's the Eggy Square. I mean, that's all I ever knew it as. And that's all the people that lived there ever knew it as.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know. And we're in such a rush, too, to change the name of Army bases.
Oh my God,
And
that is the
schools.
dumbest damn thing.
Yeah. Oh, we've got to eliminate all traces of the Civil War, the South. Oh, but we're going to hang on to this slavery business and continue to beat that
Yeah.
drum.
As far as renaming, particularly military bases,
Yeah.
I will bet if you went through this country prior to this thing going on and said, why is Fort Bragg called Fort Bragg? 1 out of 5,000 could tell you.
Fort Benning.
Or Benning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fort
or-
Benning. Fort Hood.
Yeah. would
I
be.
mean, you go down,
don't know.
just go ahead down and name it. And if you got one person that could identify one of those Army bases.
why they're named,
Yeah.
who they are.
Yeah.
They don't know. They don't care. It's immaterial now. It's become a name.
It's all it is a name.
Yep.
But it's a traditional name.
Yeah, and leave it alone. What you're doing, just stirring it back up
That's
again.
exactly right. You know what you're doing? You're scratching the bloody
Yeah,
scab
exactly.
off
Yep.
again. It makes no sense at all. Oh, but it's liberating, you see.
Yeah. Right, changing the name of Faneuil Hall. Come on.
Yeah, give me a break.
Give me a break.
How long ago was Faneuil?
Oh, God. Yeah, who cares?
Was it 300 years ago?
Yeah.
What? I mean, come on. China is expecting a new round of COVID in June, and they expect 65 million new cases. There's something to look forward to, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I suppose that means it's coming this way.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I
If they have a total shutdown again, maybe they'll be able to contain it. Maybe it won't come this way. But they're going to. They're having a tough time getting their economy going.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Tough time.
They're
And if they were to shut the even partially down, it would set them back so far. I think they're going to be very reluctant to shut the country
Oh, I do
down.
too.
Yeah.
Because they're like you said, they're struggling right now.
Really,
to
they
keep
are.
in that growth factor. The growth factor is only like half of what it was before. And even, is it a real growth factor or not? Probably not when you really look at it.
Right.
But it's a country that lives by face. They never want to admit that anything was wrong. You lose face. That's an old Asian.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Losing face.
Yeah,
You're
they'd
right.
rather typically in history they'd die before they'd lose face.
Yeah. Going way back as a kid, there was a family here in Norfolk had a very, very beautiful daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She turned either 14 or 15, and she was gorgeous. And guess what? They immediately put the house up for sale
Oh yeah.
and left town to save face.
Mhm.
Yeah. And they were old, from the old country, and it was amazing. Here in the neighborhood for years, then all of a sudden, gone.
Yeah. Well, you know, that was, go back when we were younger. I mean, that's a long time ago.
That's right.
But in those days, it was a family had a daughter to get pregnant out of wedlock. I mean, that was a disaster. It was terrifying. They sometimes would send them away.
Yeah. Oh,
to a
go
home
live
someplace.
with your aunt in Bristol, Rhode Island,
Exactly.
till you feel better.
Today it's a badge of honor.
Today they go back to school.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
no.
Shame.
No.
No. It's we're breeding like gerbils.
Oh yeah. The family unit is broke down.
Yeah. It's in this business of I got 3 baby mamas.
Yeah.
Gee, there's a real badge of honor, you know.
Father's Day must be confusing.
There was one NFL player, a defensive back, and actually was on television in an interview and said he had 9 baby mamas.
Yeah.
Well, he's making probably $1 million a year, so he can afford to take care of the 9 baby mamas.
If he does.
If he does,
Yeah.
yeah. But what happens when he gets a back injury or a knee injury or loses his speed and he's back at the car wash again, or because he flunked out of college or something like that, you know? And he has to provide not only for the 9 baby mamas, but he's got to provide for himself.
That's right.
Yeah. So guess who ends up paying for that?
Oh, we know who pays for this.
Yep. You and me.
Yep.
And lots of other people just like us, yeah.
You more than me because you got more money.
I don't know about that. Here's another little interesting development from, I believe, California, but I'm not positive because I didn't make a note of
That's
it.
okay.
Everyone in college, at this one college,
Yep.
starts with 50 points for every class they take. So if they get a 20 on his or her exam, 20 plus 50 equals 70, and that's a C. So they
unusual
pass
grading,
the
but-
course and have learned nothing. Who benefits from this? The students? The parents? Society? Nobody. Because nothing went into that squash.
Yeah, you're right. There are schools that are non-graded.
Yeah.
Now, in theory, it's good. But in practicality, it just doesn't work. It becomes a haven, and these schools always are very expensive, extremely expensive, because they don't have grades. If you show up for the class, you're going to pass. They're going to pass, fail. They do things like they spend 3 months in Europe or 6 months in Europe, and then it's 3 months here, and they travel the South Pacific for a cultural enrichment and stuff. It's 4 years of vacation.
Yeah.
Now, does a kid learn anything? If the kid's smart, he or she, I'm just using he, absorbs a lot of what is offered.
Yeah.
But chances are there's a whole lot of them that are there just partying. and they don't have to do anything because nobody's going to, as long as occupy that seat so many times, I pass.
Yeah.
Mom and dad is happy. They write the check out. And everybody's happy. Now, is that any better? It could be better than a graded course where you, and God knows I've had many of them where I crammed like hell before the final. When I got up from writing that exam, time my butt went through that door, I forgot everything because I didn't want to know it. I only learned it to pass the exam.
Sure. Sure.
So did I get any from that? No, except a lot of frustration and a lot of time.
And what you did retain
Yeah.
was, chances are, outmoded,
Yeah, you never use
or
it.
irrelevant to what
Exactly.
you're going to be doing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It seems to me that we are wasting a lot of time on kids going to college and a lot of money when they don't want to be there. Their interests lie elsewhere, and you're right, party time.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think we're seeing the turnaround because almost all the schools, with the exception of the elite status schools, are seeing a dropping enrollment. And some of them are to the point where financially it's starting to hurt the institution.
Yeah. But those same colleges, though, have got tremendous bank accounts.
Oh, yeah, the elite ones have.
And
Oh, my
they'll
God.
be able to keep themselves afloat.
Harvard will always have more applicants than they have seats.
Absolutely. But you know what? If you are accepted at Harvard and you stay awake, you don't shoot somebody or rape somebody, you're going to graduate.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, you can sit there like a bloody mushroom.
As long as you can do the minimum, they're going to pass you because
That's right.
it doesn't look good for them to have a failure rate.
Exactly right.
It reflects on them.
And not only that, but then when you go out into the business world, that diploma from Harvard opens up more bloody doors because they're still thinking of what Harvard was in the past. Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm at a loss sometimes for words. I got one more story here, one more thing to talk about, and then I'm going to switch over to you, buddy. Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, oh my God. I don't understand it, so.
Nor do I. But I'll tell you what. Teenage girls understand it.
Oh,
If we had a
my
choice,
granddaughter was there Friday, Saturday, Sunday night.
we had a choice of going and seeing Jesus Christ
Yeah.
come down to earth or Taylor Swift, I know what most people would do. And it's not to go see our Lord. I don't, but interesting, the ticket resellers, StubHub said 70% of their orders for Taylor Swift tickets are fan sellers as opposed to professional ticket brokers. Double what they normally see. They're just ordinary people buying these things and speculating on scalping them.
You could make a fortune if you get your hands on it.
But these things are digital. Some of these amateur scalpers don't realize they're digital and that they have to go online and fill out a form where they, in turn, are going to move that ticket to someone else. So somebody else buys it, you buy it, but I don't know enough to go online and transfer it to you.
Yeah.
Guess what happens when you show up?
It's no good.
No, it's no good. You're dead. And 70% of the orders are to people that are going to resell the tickets.
Oh, yeah.
63% of Taylor Swift ticket orders having issues are from amateur sellers.
Mm-hmm.
They they end up with chaos, and no one ends up happy except the people that bought them and didn't scalp them. They bought them from a reputable outfit,
Yeah.
and there they were.
Yeah.
What
The whole ticket business has gone
insane?
screwy. It's absolutely insane.
Do you know you cannot go to Boston and go into TD Garden
Yeah.
and buy a pair of Bruins tickets?
No, I know. Well,
Or
I'm sure you
Celtics
can.
tickets.
We had company last year, and I was looking to see. I know they'd never been to a professional soccer game, and I thought that's something we could do from the Midwest. I'll get 6 tickets to the Revolution, and when I went, I thought I could just, push up revolution.com tickets or something, and then I'd send them a check or give my credit card, and they'd send me the tickets. No, you can't deal with them. You got to deal with Ticketmaster or StubHub or all these other
They're an authorized.
authorized resellers.
Yeah, reseller. Yeah.
To me, that's just legalized scalpers.
It is. It is absolutely. They have legalized scalping.
Yep. And if you and I tried to stand out in front of Fenway with a couple extra tickets that we couldn't use, chances are we get arrested.
Well, I can
But they
remember,
can do it.
I can remember going into Fenway Park when I had bought 4 tickets,
Yep.
and the other couple didn't show. Or they canceled out or were sick or some stupid thing.
You got to
So I get 2 tickets for me and my date, and 2 tickets that I got to move. Well, I had them in my pocket, and guys would walk by, or a couple would walk by. You need a couple? You need a couple? And just low key in it as much as I could. I didn't pull the tickets out and flash them or anything because the cops were cracking down.
Yeah.
Now it's legal chaos out there.
We had a couple of tickets, I think 4 of them, for 4 extras at, it wasn't a big deal, it was Pawtucket. And it was just a misunderstanding. I said to her, I was going over here, you didn't need to get in my head even at that time.
Right.
I said, well, I'll get tickets over here. And she was the other couple we were in. She decides she's going to buy tickets over there. So then we both got 4 tickets. I said, wait a minute. I said, you got to go sell yours. I said, just say, well, you did it wrong,
Yeah.
So she did. She got some guy was telling her, he said, how do I know they're real? She said, well, you're going to be sitting right next to us, so it don't make any difference.
Oh man.
But it's gotten crazy, and we didn't end up going in anyway because I just didn't want to go through all the things and all that you had to do.
I know. It's crazy.
Asking for an account number and everything else. Well, I ain't got no account.
So what you got on your list?
Well, let's go over there. This one here. This one tore me. After your do not bend thing, I opened the mail one day and I got this letter. And it says right to shine through important notice action required. And it's got a return address that's very official looking. It looks like it comes from the state.
Yep.
But it's not. It's from a company. I got to put my eyes on for some of this. From a company called Clean Renewable Energy. Sounds great. Clean Energy Choice. Get 100% clean, pollution-free energy. Simply sign and return the form below, right here. I look down and it's got, they need your 10-digit national grid number. Well, we're not National Grid.
Right.
We're
Comcast.
not
Eversource.
So I start reading it, and it's going on, and how, oh, you're going to get this energy that's so clean. It was made by solar and wind, and it just,
You can eat it. It's pure.
I'm thinking, now, how in the hell do those charged ions that are coming down the line know that they came out of a windmill or an old coal-fired furnace or a coal-fired turbine someplace?
Yep.
I said, it's the same energy that's going down the line.
That's right.
They imply that you're only going to get clean energy.
Yep.
First
The
of all,
kind of energy John Kerry would be
oh,
proud of.
absolutely. And then they'll get you right to the point, and then they got a little bit of a disclaimer,
Tiny.
a tiny little, but maybe this, and then then they go right on to something else. So then we got talking about price here. Well, it just so happens that they list the 250, 500,000, and 2,000 kilowatt, I think that's kilowatt hours, of pricing. Well, I had just gotten the Eversource bill. And serendipitously, my usage last month was exactly 250 kilowatts.
Wow.
So I said, well, here's a chart right here. So I could have done it. I just took the math. They gave me the price per kilowatt. I said, yeah, let's see. Price per year. Well, it cost me $88.50 for the clean energy. But it cost me $64.44 for the dirty stuff, which you can't tell anyways.
That's right.
That's exactly 25%. So I would have paid $22.06, but I was getting clean energy.
Boy, oh boy.
My lights would have burned brighter, I'm
You
sure.
would have slept better at night, too.
Oh, absolutely. Everything. When I turned that stove on, it would have went pew, just because it was clean.
Oh.
Hey, come on, you look at this propaganda that they're sending out.
It is mystifying, but I guess not really, because people fall for this.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know what, Dwayne? The dumbing down of America is a ongoing event.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, I can't believe some of the scams you read about in the paper, and you say, people can't possibly
That's
be
the same.
that stupid.
That's exactly what I say to
Yeah.
them. How the hell could you fall for that?
It doesn't make sense, except look what the school systems have become.
Yeah.
Look at the culture that you get from television.
You get something that they want money for something or other, say a ransom type thing, and they want you to send it, or not even ransom, they want you to send it in gift cards.
Yeah.
And people don't think anything of that.
No.
But I do see, I went to a Big Y day before Mother's Day, checking out, they got a big sign on the registers that gift cards are only available if you have a
Big
Y
Y
card.
Yeah.
And then you have to go to the service desk to get them. In no case will they sell you more than $200 worth of gift cards, for any reason.
Yep. Yeah. I went through that when we were buying gift cards for the residents.
Oh yeah, for the
Of Hillcrest Village
yeah.
during the pandemic. And you're absolutely right. I had to call headquarters and order them. They would process my credit card, and then they would process and energize the
Yeah.
cards and ship them out to the local place. I'd have to go over and pick them up,
Yeah.
sign for them.
That's good. They're taking some Because, you know, people were going in and buying $2,000 worth of gift cards. Come on, well, that's stupid.
You know, before Christmas, I could see people going in and buying $500 worth of gift cards, especially like prepaid MasterCards
Yeah,
or something
if you
like
got,
that.
particularly if you got a business and you're going to give
Yeah.
them out to your employees or something. But
Yeah. But you're right. That's, I think, is very reasonable for them to say no more than $200.
Yeah.
You know.
without going through
Yeah.
your kind of thing where you got to sign stuff.
But you know, the phone calls that we get too at home
Oh my God!
are getting. I get. Hello, this is Comcast.
It's
You're
not.
paying too much money.
Oh,
Call us and we'll reduce the amount of money that you pay.
Oh.
And so anyway, I did. I hit the one button.
no, I didn't do it. But what did you get?
We can reduce your monthly bill 40% for a period of 3 months. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what happens after that.
First of all,
Well-
you weren't talking to Comcast. You were talking to somebody else.
But because it never happens.
No.
Okay? They get, now, can you tell us your account number with Comcast?
I would say, well, you got it right in front of you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I say. You do have it. You called me. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have all that information. We've got to verify it, sir. We've got to verify that you are, in fact, you. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, I'm not going to give it to you. Click.
Oh yeah.
That's what they want.
I got the same call. We've got some kind of discount for you for your Comcast bill,
Oh, yeah.
and all you had to do was press. I said, no, there's no way a company like Comcast is going to give away money.
They also, there's another one that says either Comcast or Dish. We're working together
Oh,
to
sure they
lower
are.
your
Oh,
monthly
yeah.
payments.
Yeah, you're lucky if Comcast don't go up every month.
Yeah. And yet, people fall for
Fall for it all the time.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
I got one the other day, and I won't bore you with it. It was the same stuff. And I said, where are you calling from?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Miami, Florida. I said, you live in Miami, Florida? Yes. I said, what section of Miami do you live in? South Miami.
10.
I said, really, whereabouts? What street? I was born in Miami. Whereabouts do you live? Click.
Yeah, click. They don't want you to.
No, to know that they're in Indonesia or the Philippines or
India.
India.
Yep.
Man. Give me something, buddy.
All right, let's see what we got here. Drag Queen Story Hour. Perhaps you can tell me about that. Not that you are a drag queen or a drag queen advocate.
Or even a story.
What in the hell is the thing with the drag queens? Why not have Zombie Story Hour? Why not have
Because
fairy
it's
tales?
all part of the left-wing agenda about this agenda about gender.
Why you want to sit in front of little kids and the kid goes out and says, Mommy, we had a nice lady telling a story today. And Mommy's got to say, well, that wasn't no lady. That was a man dressed up. When the kid gets all confused, what the hell is the difference if some nice old fart like you and I sit down and tell them a story, or some librarian tells them a story? Why a drag queen?
Well, because they are trying to legitimize
I
this
know,
gender bending stuff. And the kids are going to go home and say, you know, that she was a nice lady.
Oh yeah. I
and-
know when I said
Yeah.
why.
Yeah,
I knew
it
that.
was a rhetorical question. Yeah, but it's a dangerous question because the other side of that coin is you and I would not be invited to speak to those kids
No.
because they'd say, "Oh yeah, what are you, a couple of old diddlers looking to fool around with the kids?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or why not bring in a rabbi or
Yeah.
anything?
Well,
Why
one of
not-
them religious types to really jam their twisted ideas down the little kids' throats.
just doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
wouldn't send my kid or drop him off for drag queen story hour. Or my grandkids, I guess, are going to be great grandkids now because grandkids are grown. But it's just ludicrous.
It is absolutely ludicrous, and it's just one segment, small segment of our population that is pushing this madness.
How did they? What do I want to say? How can such a small percentage have such an influence on the overall?
The media,
Yep, they rope the media into it.
the celebrities,
Yep, and everybody's afraid of saying, "Well, you're biased or you discriminate."
that's right.
And oh God, the R word. They're all scared to death of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
And more of the closeted gays are coming out of the closet. And see, they're just like us in all that. Well, they are, okay? But that doesn't mean that we should really begin to say, well, look, let's get them in and let's have them educate the kids as to being a drag queen.
I don't.
Bobby's
understand.
two mothers.
This is real. I'm not rhetorical. Why, or I don't understand why you can't just be who you are. If you're gay, that's fine. Be gay. Don't tell me every 2 minutes that you're gay. Don't every time I turn something on in TV have a gay issue there. I don't care. I don't care if you in love with your dog or your cat. I don't care if you marry a fire hydrant. I don't tell you who I'm attracted to all the time.
You know, I feel the same way. I don't care that you're gay.
Yep.
I don't care that you are Jewish.
Yep.
I don't care that you are Armenian.
Yep.
I don't care. I just care that you are a person. And I'm going to treat you the same as I treat anyone else.
That's right.
Okay.
But I don't need to be told every 5 minutes, or this is presented to me.
Also don't need to have that kind of propaganda jammed down my throat either.
You know damn well it is. They deny, but it's a recruitment process, or a acceptance of. Make it not. I shouldn't have said acceptance. I should say preference.
Yeah.
It's almost like, well, we'll make this lifestyle a preference rather than acceptance.
By the way, if they are doing gender-changing operations on 8-year-olds,
No, that's not right.
I mean, this is stuff that,
That 8-year-old cannot consent to that.
no, he can't, and he doesn't know whether he's
He doesn't know what
on
it
foot
is.
or horseback
That's
either.
right.
It is when, and by the way, even Granny Warren says, well, brains aren't fully developed.
Yeah, to 25 now.
25?
How's an 8-year-old going to decide?
Yeah. So how does an 8-year-old know that he's in the wrong body? He really belongs in a female body, or she really belongs in a male body in all of this. you are what you are.
Yeah. And you can't. These people. I saw one time that this woman had said, well, she had a 5-year-old boy. She says, he really believes he's a girl, and wants feminine things. I said, I don't think so. I said, a 5-year-old has no preference. A 5-year-old wants to play whatever they want to play with at that point.
Mommy dresses him in dresses,
and push him over into
mommy,
that.
that's right.
Exactly right.
Exactly.
Now, when I was a kid, I mean a little kid,
Yeah.
2 and 3 years old, I wanted dolls. And unfortunately, they got some pictures of me with dolls. And unfortunately, my damn brother took it to school for the senior yearbook and had them all put in the yearbook. I could have killed him, but
you know, it's incredible that we are doing that to children.
okay. So,
And yet, if a pervert picks a kid up and touches the kid, well, he's got to go to prison for 30 years because he's a
we're
pervert.
not advocating anything like perverts or anything.
No.
We're just
It's,
stay in your lane. If you
Yeah.
if you want to be gay, but don't.
and you know what? I've had gay friends. And
Oh yeah,
it doesn't make any bloody difference.
No.
You are what you are. One of the funniest persons I ever met in my life was a gay guy, my age. He would have you in stitches. Just a regular crazy guy. But what you do with your private life, what you do in your bedroom, I don't care.
I don't want to know.
No, I don't care. As long as it doesn't infringe on the safety or the well-being of my family or society, I don't care.
That's right.
I don't care. Give me another subject.
Real quickie, I think we're round.
Okay.
Been in the paper about this person in Yellowstone that touched or held a baby bison. And then the mother has now rejected it, and they had to euthanize the baby bison. There's more to that story than there was.
Really?
This guy actually saw this bison trying to cross a river and having trouble, and jumped in and got him out. Now, it's true that the mother wouldn't touch the bison now because the odor of the human is on him. But what I couldn't figure out is, why do you have to euthanize that baby bison and then make a fuss about it?
Yeah.
It could go to a ranch or a farm or
It also could go to another herd of bison
Or is
and possibly be accepted.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wrap up.
Well, all right, folks.
All right.
The first segment of our highly rated show is come to a screeching halt, which means it's time for a visit to the boys' room, a visit to the refrigerator, or just go outside and take a couple of breaths of fresh air. But come on back in a few seconds or minutes or whatever.
Or the ladies' room.
Right. Yeah.
We don't want to be accused here.
No,
All right, see you in a minute.
that's right.